The story of the all-seeing eye, also known as the Eye of Providence, begins long before it was ever inked onto the back of a dollar bill, long before it was whispered about in shadowy corridors or flashed across the silver screen as a symbol of power, control, or conspiracy. It is a story that reaches back through time, winding its way through ancient temples, medieval cathedrals, secret societies, and the hidden places of the human imagination. To understand the true meaning of the all-seeing eye, we must become seekers ourselves, willing to travel into the depths of history, myth, and mystery. So, are you ready? Before we begin, if you are fascinated by the mysteries of Freemasonry, hidden symbols, and the truth that lies just beneath the surface, make sure to subscribe to this channel and join our journey into the unknown. Let's start where most people first encounter the Eye of Providence, the reverse side of the United States $1 bill. There, floating above a strange unfinished pyramid, sits a single open eye, surrounded by rays of light, gazing out from the triangle, silent and all-knowing. Above it, the Latin phrase annuit coeptis, he has favored our undertakings. Below, the cryptic words novus ordo seclorum, a new order of the ages. But what is this eye really doing there? Is it a secret message from the Freemasons? A signal to those in the know that powerful forces are controlling the world? Or is it something much older, much deeper, an ancient symbol of wisdom, divine presence, or the longing of humanity to be seen and understood by something greater than itself? Let's peel back the layers, one by one. The eye before Masonry. Ancient Egypt, Greece, and beyond. Long before the rise of modern Freemasonry, the image of a single, watchful eye appeared in the religions and art of some of the oldest civilizations on Earth. In ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus, also known as the Wadjet, was a symbol of protection, royal power, and good health. It was painted on tomb walls, carved into amulets, and inscribed on boats to protect them on their journeys. The myth behind it is both tragic and mysterious. The god Horus, battling against Set, the god of chaos, lost one of his eyes in the struggle. The eye was restored by the god Thoth, and thus became a symbol of healing and renewal. But it also became a symbol of watchfulness, an eye that saw beyond the ordinary, that could pierce the darkness and protect the vulnerable. Move forward to ancient Greece and Rome, and we find the concept of the eye as a symbol of divine presence still alive and well. The Greek god Zeus was sometimes called all-seeing, able to observe the deeds of men from atop Mount Olympus. In both Greek and Roman art, eyes were painted on shields, ships, and buildings to ward off evil and attract the favor of the gods. The evil eye, a glance believed to bring bad luck or misfortune, was countered by amulets and charms in the shape of eyes, still used in many cultures today. What do all these ancient eyes have in common? They are never just passive. They are active, powerful, and deeply connected to the idea that there are forces in the universe that see everything, that nothing is truly hidden. The eye in Christianity, from cathedrals to the Renaissance. As the ancient world gave way to the Christian era, the symbolism of the all-seeing eye did not disappear. It evolved. Early Christian artists and theologians adapted the motif to represent the omniscience and omnipresence of God. In medieval Europe, you can find depictions of the eye surrounded by rays of light, sometimes enclosed in a triangle, on the walls and ceilings of churches, cathedrals, and illuminated manuscripts. The triangle itself became a symbol of the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In these images, the Eye of Providence watched over the faithful, a reminder that God saw all deeds, judged all hearts, and was present everywhere. During the Renaissance, with its explosion of artistic creativity and rediscovery of ancient symbols, the eye became even more prominent. Painters like Pontormo and artists in the circles of Leonardo da Vinci incorporated the motif into their works. In some cases, the eye appears above scenes of biblical revelation or as a sign of divine approval over human endeavor. The message was clear: you are always seen, always known, always accountable. But if you seek the truth, the eye can also be a source of comfort. You are not alone in the darkness. The eye enters Freemasonry, a symbol within a symbol. And then, somewhere between the Renaissance and the Age of Enlightenment, the eye takes on a new layer of meaning, one that would become forever associated with the world's most famous and infamous Secret society. The Freemasons. Freemasonry emerged in the late 16th and early 17th centuries in Europe, rooted in the stonemasons' guilds, but quickly evolving into a philosophical and spiritual fraternity. Symbols were everything: the square and compasses, the pillars of Solomon's temple, the blazing star, the trowel, the level, and yes, the all-seeing eye. In Masonic lore, the eye represents the great architect of the universe, the divine force that orders and sustains all things. It is a symbol of the Masonic pursuit of truth, wisdom, and moral uprightness. But there is another layer. In the ritual, the eye is also a reminder that your actions, even when hidden from other men, are always visible to a higher power. Integrity, honesty, charity. These are not just public virtues, but private obligations. As the Masonic lodges spread across Europe and the Americas, the eye became part of their iconography. It appeared on tracing boards, initiation certificates, and even on the walls of some lodges. But outside the lodges, a storm was brewing. The birth of conspiracy, the eye in the New World. When the founding fathers of the United States designed the Great Seal in the late 18th century, they drew from a vast library of symbols, both ancient and modern. The pyramid, representing strength and duration. The eye, representing divine providence and guidance. Benjamin Franklin, himself a prominent Freemason, was part of the committee that worked on the seal, though the final design was a product of many minds, both Masonic and non-Masonic. Was the inclusion of the eye a signal to fellow initiates, a hidden message that the new nation was under the guidance of the craft? Or was it simply a powerful symbol that expressed the hope that America would be protected and blessed by a higher power? Over time, as the seal appeared on official documents, and later on the dollar bill, the eye began to attract attention. In the shadows of history, whispers grew. The Freemasons are behind everything. The eye means they control the banks, the government, the world. Books, pamphlets, and eventually movies and internet forums spread the idea that the eye was not just a religious or philosophical symbol, but a mark of hidden rulers, secret cabals, and unseen hands pulling the strings. But is that really the truth? Or is it another layer of mystery, added by those who see shadows everywhere? If you're enjoying this journey into the unknown, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that challenges what you think you know. The eye in modern culture, Hollywood, hip-hop, and the internet. By the 20th and 21st centuries, the all-seeing eye was everywhere. It stared out from the back of every US dollar bill. It appeared in blockbuster films, National Treasure, Eyes Wide Shut, The Da Vinci Code. Rappers, pop stars, and fashion designers incorporated the eye into album covers, music videos, jewelry, and clothing. Sometimes it was a sign of rebellion, sometimes a nod to secret knowledge, sometimes just a way to spark curiosity or controversy. But with each new appearance, the meaning of the eye shifted. For some, it remained a symbol of God's watchful care. For others, it was a badge of elite power, surveillance, even oppression. For conspiracy theorists, the eye was proof of the Illuminati, a shadowy group said to control everything from pop music to world governments. Think about this. Why does one symbol, one simple shape, a triangle with an eye, provoke so much emotion, fear, fascination, and debate? Is it because we want to believe in secret knowledge? Because we fear being watched? Or because, deep down, we long for the reassurance that someone or something is watching over us, especially when the world feels chaotic and unpredictable? The psychological power of the eye. Let's pause for a moment and look at the science. Psychologists have studied the power of eye imagery, and the results are fascinating. In experiments, people behave more honestly and generously when there is a picture of an eye, even a stylized one, watching them. The watching eye effect has been used to reduce littering, improve workplace behavior, and even encourage people to donate more to charity. It's as if the human brain is hardwired to respond to the presence of eyes, even when we know rationally that the eye is just a picture. Why? Some say it goes back to our earliest ancestors, when being watched could mean danger or safety. The eye represents consciousness, awareness, and the boundary between what is hidden and what is revealed. So, when you see the all-seeing eye, it doesn't just speak to the mind. It speaks to something much deeper, something ancient and primal. The eye in esoteric philosophy. Light, enlightenment, and the search for truth. Beyond the rumors and pop culture, the all-seeing eye has always had another, quieter meaning, a meaning whispered in the halls of spiritual seekers, mystics, and philosophers. To them, the eye is not a sign of oppression, but of awakening. It represents the third eye, the inner vision that sees truth beyond illusion. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the third eye is the seat of wisdom, the point of enlightenment, the ability to see the true nature of reality. In Masonic teaching, to open your eyes is to awaken to a higher understanding. It is to move from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from the material to the spiritual. This is why, in initiation rituals, new members are often blindfolded, symbolizing their search for light, their desire to see. So perhaps the eye is not a threat, but an invitation, a call to look deeper, question more, and seek truth, even when it is hidden behind layers of symbol and story. Hidden meanings. The eye in art and architecture. If you begin to look, you will see the eye everywhere, not just in obvious places like the dollar bill, but hidden in the architecture of old buildings, stained glass windows, paintings, and even corporate logos. Why do so many artists, builders, and designers return to this symbol again and again? Maybe it's because the eye speaks to a universal longing, to be seen, to be known, to be understood. Or maybe it's because the eye reminds us that there is always something bigger than ourselves, a higher power, a deeper mystery, or a greater truth waiting to be discovered. The eye is warning and hope. There's a reason the eye sometimes makes people uncomfortable. To be seen means to be exposed. In a world where privacy feels like it is slipping away, where cameras and algorithms watch our every move, the symbol of the all-seeing eye is both a warning and a hope. A warning, because unchecked power, surveillance, and secrecy can threaten our freedom and dignity. A hope, because maybe, just maybe, there is an order behind the chaos, a purpose behind the pain, a wisdom behind the confusion of life. In Freemasonry, as in many spiritual traditions, the eye reminds members to live with integrity, honesty, and compassion, even when no one is watching, because someone always is. The eye in your life. What does it really mean? So, after all this, what does the all-seeing eye really mean? Is it a sign of secret rulers, a badge of faith, a psychological trigger, or a spiritual symbol? The truth is, it can be all these things, and more. It is a symbol, and symbols are alive. They change with time, culture, and perspective. What matters is not just what the eye means in books or rituals, but what it means to you. When you see the eye, ask yourself, what am I hiding? What do I hope someone will see? What truth am I searching for? And remember, the eye is not just watching you. It is inviting you to look, to seek, to question, to awaken. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the secrets of the all-seeing eye, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment with your thoughts. Do you believe the eye is a symbol of protection or control, of wisdom or warning? What does it mean to you? Your journey into the mysteries of Freemasonry and the hidden world of symbols is just beginning. Centuries after the first stone temples were raised and the earliest initiates whispered their secrets by candlelight, the all-seeing eye continues to cast its shadow, haunting the dreams of the powerful, awakening suspicion among the curious, and inviting the boldest of seekers into a world that exists just beyond the veil of the ordinary. But why this symbol, above all others, has held humanity's gaze for so long is a story as winding and unpredictable as history itself. It's the story of secret rooms and silent oaths, of empires and revolutions, of whispered warnings and impossible promises. But above all, it's the story of a symbol that refuses to be tamed, forever shifting shape depending on who is looking and why. The eye and the birth of modern Masonry. To truly understand the link between the all-seeing eye and Freemasonry, we have to return to the stormy centuries when Europe was tearing itself apart in search of certainty. The old world was dying, monarchs fell, scientists peered through new telescopes, and age-old religious authorities trembled at the thought of what lay beyond their control. In this chaos, new societies sprang up, places where men could meet as equals, seeking knowledge, brotherhood, and meaning in a universe that seemed both infinite and unknowable. Out of the stonemasons' guilds, keepers of the mysteries of geometry and architecture, emerged the speculative Freemasons, claiming to build not just cathedrals but the very edifice of human virtue. Early Masonic texts, like Anderson's Constitutions of 1723, make subtle references to the great architect of the universe, a term both inclusive and mysterious. But it was in the years that followed, as Masonry spread from Britain to France, America, and beyond, that the eye began to appear as a central motif. Lodges across continents adopted the symbol, interpreting it as a reminder that the Mason's true judge was not his peers, but a higher, unseen authority. Some rituals even included a physical blazing star, a representation of the eye, illuminating the lodge from above. But as Masonry grew in influence, so too did the suspicion. Kings, popes, and revolutionaries all saw in the lodges a threat to their power. Laws were passed, members were persecuted, and rumors multiplied. What exactly were the Masons hiding? And why was the eye everywhere their hand reached? Scandal and suspicion. The eye in the crosshairs. The 18th and 19th centuries saw a series of events that cemented the eye's reputation as a symbol of power, conspiracy, and forbidden knowledge. In France, as revolution swept away the monarchy, whispers spread that Masons had orchestrated the entire upheaval. The eye, engraved on revolutionary banners and worn as a charm by some of the leaders, became a silent accusation, an emblem of plots in the dark. In the United States, anti-Masonic sentiment exploded after the mysterious disappearance of William Morgan in 1826. Morgan, a former Mason who had threatened to expose the secrets of the craft, vanished. Some said he was kidnapped or killed by angry brethren. Newspapers published illustrations of the eye watching over a nation supposedly threatened by Masonic infiltration. The incident sparked the formation of the Anti-Masonic Party, the first third party in American political history. Across the Atlantic, in Victorian England, the popularity of Gothic novels and penny dreadfuls, stories of haunted mansions and shadowy cults, often centered on symbols of the eye, portraying it as the mark of a secret order manipulating fate from the shadows. Meanwhile, real Masons worked quietly in public life, as judges, bankers, mayors, inventors, and yes, even priests. Some used the eye as a personal reminder of their vows. Others, seeing how much it stirred fear and fascination, kept it in plain sight. The eye on the dollar bill, a nation's secret. Perhaps no use of the eye has generated as much debate, speculation, and outright conspiracy as its appearance on the Great Seal of the United States, and eventually the $1 bill. When the seal was being designed, the Founding Fathers sought symbols that would both reflect the ideals of the new nation and connect it to a sense of the eternal. The eye, atop an unfinished pyramid, was proposed by a committee including Charles Thomson and William Barton, men who, despite rumors, were not confirmed Freemasons. Yet Benjamin Franklin, one of the most famous early American Masons, was deeply involved in other aspects of the country's symbolism. Was it coincidence, or the hand of the craft, that placed the eye at the very heart of America's iconography? Theories multiplied. Was the unfinished pyramid a symbol of a nation still growing, overseen by the wisdom of Providence? Or was it a coded message that the work of the Masons, the secret builders of a new world order, would never truly be complete? Even today, scholars debate the intent. Some see the eye as a straightforward symbol of divine blessing. Others point to its use in European art, Masonic lodges, and Enlightenment philosophy as proof that deeper hidden meanings were encoded into the very currency that passes through every American hand. For conspiracy theorists, this was all the proof they needed. Every transaction became a brush with the secret order, every glance at the bill a fleeting connection to a world beyond the ordinary. Modern sightings, the eye and the world around us. If you begin to look for the all-seeing eye, you will find it everywhere, hidden in the open, lurking in design, art, and architecture. St. Peter's Basilica, Vatican City. Look up to the baldachin and you'll see the eye, nestled within sunburst rays, an ancient symbol, hidden in the heart of one of the world's holiest sites. European cathedrals. From stained glass windows in France to carvings in Germany and Italy, the eye gazes down at worshippers, sometimes as a symbol of God's presence, sometimes as a subtle warning. Corporate logos. From the CBS eye to the AOL pyramid, echoes of the symbol appear in modern branding, sparking endless online debates about the hidden hand of the Masons or Illuminati in big business. Music and film. Artists like Jay-Z, Madonna, and Kanye West have been accused, sometimes playfully, sometimes seriously, of inserting the eye into their performances, album covers, and stage sets. Blockbuster films from National Treasure to Now You See Me lean into the mystique, using the eye as shorthand for hidden truth, power, and danger. Why do so many creators and companies return to the eye? Is it an inside joke, a signal to insiders, or simply because it works, grabbing attention and sparking the imagination? A Tale from the Lodge, Confessions of a Mason. For a moment, let's step away from the world of rumor and theory and listen to the words of someone who knows the eye not as a threat, but as a daily reminder. Jacob, a Mason for more than 30 years, shares this story. I joined the lodge out of curiosity, like a lot of young men. I'd seen the symbols on buildings, in old books. The eye especially fascinated me. When I first sat in the lodge, blindfolded, and heard the words of the initiation, I realized this isn't about control, it's about conscience. The eye reminds us that our actions matter, even when no one sees. That every secret deed, every private thought, is part of the building we leave behind. But Jacob also acknowledges the mystery. Of course, people want to see more. They want secrets, hidden powers, magic. Maybe the real magic is that the eye keeps us honest. Maybe that's why it scares people, because it asks, who are you when you're alone? Scandals and legends. The eye at the heart of controversy. Not all stories are so reassuring. In the past century, the eye has found itself at the center of real scandals, cases where secrecy, power, and corruption met, and the world demanded answers. The P2 Lodge Scandal, Italy, 1980s. An Italian Masonic lodge, Propaganda Due, was revealed to be at the heart of a shadowy network involving politicians, bankers, and even the Vatican. The eye was used in their correspondence, and when the scandal broke, newspapers across the world splashed the symbol across their front pages, proof, to many, that the Masons were still pulling strings from the shadows. The Taxil Hoax, France, 1890s. Leo Taxil, a French journalist, published a series of sensational exposés claiming to reveal the secret satanic rites of the Masons, featuring the eye as proof of their allegiance to dark powers. Later, he confessed it was all a hoax, but by then, the image had stuck, fueling anti-Masonic conspiracy theories for generations. Each scandal, true or false, added another layer to the eye's meaning. Was it a symbol of enlightenment, or a mask for the abuse of power? And in an age where information is everywhere, perhaps the biggest secret is that the truth is always more complicated than we want to believe. The eye and the quest for meaning. For some, the eye is simply a warning. Beware of those who claim to see all, for power corrupts, and secrets can be dangerous. For others, it is an invitation to seek truth, to pierce the veils of illusion, to build a better self and a better world. But for everyone, the eye is a mirror, reflecting back not just the mysteries of the universe, but the mysteries of our own hearts. Are you enjoying this journey? If so, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. What does the all-seeing eye mean to you? Have you encountered it in your own life? Let us know below. Pop culture and the paranoid mind. It's impossible to tell the story of the eye in the modern era without talking about the explosion of conspiracy culture. From the earliest days of the internet, forums and YouTube channels have been filled with people connecting the dots. The eye on the dollar bill, the eye in music videos, the eye in the corner of ancient paintings. Some claim it is proof of the New World Order, a global conspiracy of elites working in secret. Others see it as the mark of the Illuminati, a mysterious group said to control governments, finance, and even the fate of nations. Every time a celebrity flashes a pyramid hand sign, every time a blockbuster film lingers on a triangle with an eye, the debates flare anew. But psychologists point out something fascinating. Symbols like the eye act as a kind of Rorschach test. People see in them what they most fear or most desire. For some, the eye is evidence of control and oppression. For others, it's a reminder that there are still mysteries in the world, still things that lie beyond the reach of reason. Real mysteries. The eye in unsolved cases. Not all the tales surrounding the eye are fantasy. In some cases, its appearance has coincided with real mysteries. The Great Seal, cipher. Some researchers believe the layout of the eye, the pyramid, and the Latin inscriptions on the dollar bill encode hidden messages, numerological codes, references to ancient wisdom, or even predictions of future events. No one has yet proven these theories, but the hunt continues. Missing Masonic artifacts. Across the world, stories persist of lost treasures, rings, manuscripts, paintings, all bearing the eye, all said to hold secrets that could shake the world if revealed. Strange coincidences. In times of upheaval, revolutions, wars, financial crises, the eye seems to reappear in art, in speeches, in the designs of new buildings. Is this simply because the symbol is everywhere, or is someone deliberately invoking its power? These are questions that may never have a final answer. But for the seekers, the eye remains a beacon, calling them to look deeper, search harder, and refuse easy explanations. Voices from within and without. In recent years, a new generation of Masons, artists, and thinkers have tried to reclaim the eye, not as a threat, but as a source of inspiration. Artists. Painters and sculptors from around the world use the eye to explore themes of vision, knowledge, and awakening. For them, it is less about power and more about possibility, the dream that humanity can, one day, truly see itself. Philosophers. Modern esoteric writers argue that the eye is an archetype, a universal symbol of the mind's search for truth. In this view, to open the third eye is to awaken to higher consciousness, to move beyond fear and illusion. Masons. Many lodges now openly discuss the eye's meaning, inviting the public to attend lectures, visit their buildings, and ask questions. For them, secrecy is less about hiding and more about preserving the sacredness of self-discovery. But not everyone is convinced. Skeptics warn that even the most beautiful symbol can be twisted to serve dark ends. History, after all, is filled with the ruins of societies that believed themselves all-seeing and all-powerful. The never-ending story. So, as we return to the present moment, the question remains, what does the all-seeing eye really mean? Is it a code, a warning, a promise, or a challenge? Is it the mark of an ancient order, a sign of divine presence, or just a trick of the mind, a pattern we cannot help but see in the chaos of the world? Maybe in the end, the eye is all these things, and none. It is a story that never ends, a mystery that can never be fully solved. It watches over us, not to control, but to remind. The search for truth is always ongoing, always unfinished, always calling us onward. So keep your eyes open, because sometimes the things that see us most clearly are the things we cannot see at all. As centuries turn and the digital age unfolds, the eye never sleeps. What was once carved in stone and painted on the ceilings of cathedrals now flickers on millions of screens around the world. The all-seeing eye is more present than ever, shared in memes, dissected in videos, debated in classrooms, and feared in forms that stretch from the hidden corners of the internet to the highest halls of power. But in this age of information, when every secret seems just a click away, why does the eye still fascinate us? Perhaps it is because we realize, deep inside, that some mysteries remain unsolved, not because the answers are hidden, but because we're not yet ready to see them. Let's look one last time at the journey of this symbol, its power, its paradox, and its invitation. A mirror for the world. Some say the eye has lost its magic, that with so many explanations, the symbol is just another logo, another marketing trick. But the truth is, every age reimagines the eye according to its fears and hopes. In the age of surveillance cameras and AI, the eye becomes a warning about privacy. In the era of personal growth and spiritual seeking, it becomes a symbol of awakening. For those who see conspiracy, the eye will always represent control, the invisible hand, the power they cannot name. For others, it's a call to responsibility. If you are always watched, will you act with integrity even when you think no one is looking? And for the rarest seekers, the true initiates, it is a doorway, a reminder that the universe itself is conscious, watching, and waiting for us to awaken. But perhaps the greatest truth is this: the eye reflects the person who looks at it. To the fearful, it is a threat. To the wise, it is an invitation. To the lost, it is hope. Final stories. The eye's echo in ordinary lives. In a small town in Italy, an old mason named Lorenzo kept a painting of the eye above his workshop door. When a curious child once asked him why, he smiled and replied, "Because the world is bigger than you think. Because you matter, even when no one sees. Because what you do in secret will shape the world in ways you'll never know." In America, a young woman, struggling with the weight of a lie, looked up at the eye on her dollar bill and found herself asking for the first time, if someone saw everything I did, would I be proud of my choices? That question changed her life. It was not the eye that judged her, but her own conscience, awakened by the mystery. In every era, in every land, the eye appears, sometimes to challenge, sometimes to comfort, always to remind us that we are part of something greater. It is the thread connecting the builders of the pyramids, the artists of the Renaissance, the seekers of secret lodges, and the ordinary people who wonder if their actions matter. Secrets and revelations. Is there a final truth? By now you may be hoping for one last secret, one ultimate revelation that unlocks the eye's meaning once and for all. But the real secret is this: there is no final answer. Every time you peel back a layer, another appears. The eye teaches us that truth is a journey, not a destination. In the end, the eye is not about power or control. It is about awareness. It is about daring to see and daring to be seen. It is about understanding that our lives are chapters in a much longer story, watched over by something we can barely understand. For some, that is frightening. For others, it is liberating. The eye and you, a personal challenge. So, the next time you see the all-seeing eye, on a building, on a bill, in a film, or in your dreams, ask yourself, what does it mean to you? Are you living a life you would be proud for others to see? What secrets do you hold? And what truths are you searching for? Maybe, just maybe, the eye is waiting for you to open your own. Maybe the most powerful vision is not the eye that watches the world, but the vision you develop when you dare to see yourself clearly, your strengths, your flaws, your hidden hopes. And if you're ready to keep seeking, to keep questioning, to keep growing, then you are exactly the kind of person this symbol was meant for. An invitation to seekers. Thank you for coming with us on this journey through centuries of mystery, myth, and meaning. The eye is never closed, and the search for understanding never ends. If this story made you think differently or sparked a new question inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Join our community of seekers, subscribe to this channel, share your thoughts below, and let's keep unraveling the mysteries together. Remember, the world is full of eyes, but only a few dare to truly see. Stay curious, stay questioning. The story is never finished. And above all, keep your own eye open. You never know what you'll discover next. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe, like, and share with someone else who seeks truth. What does the all-seeing eye mean to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, keep seeking and keep your eyes wide open.